April 2017 horoscopes. And guys, I don't want to over dramatize, but I believe this will be probably the most important month of the year, if not for a few years, because when I started looking at the astrology of April, I was a bit, overwhelmed, because we will have 4 planets becoming stationary, which means they're not going to be moving in the sky. It will look like they're staying in one place. And when a planet becomes stationary, it means it's changing direction. And I've never, since I've been doing videos in the last 6 years, I've never seen such a convergence of 4 planets at the same time in the same month, changing direction. And when planets change their directions, they become 5 times stronger, and they become 5 times more likely to give big changes in life. And it's changing direction is like reversals in the directions and derailing of the train and starting on a different path. So it's going to be such a huge month, and I'm going to walk you through each of the planets, what it means for each of the signs. So bear with me, I think, because you have to watch this video, because it's going to be if you don't watch any other monthly video, watch at least April. And before I start, just wanted to tell you that from May, sometime in May, I'm starting a 6-month course in astrology, and every 2 weeks I'll be speaking about for 3-4 hours on a Sunday about each sign, starting with Aries, Taurus, what it means to have planets in Aries, what it means to have Aries in a certain house, what it means to have Aries ascendant, why Aries or Taurus or whatever sign you are, guys, what it means to have each sign. We're going to go in depth. We're going to start astrology 101. And even if you never learn anything else about astrology, but understand in depth each sign for the 3-4 hours that I'm going to do weekly, this is going to be enough for you to actually to even predict for the people, because just knowing someone ascendant can help you see the fate and the money and the health and the career and the relationships and the love and the karma of a person just by knowing their ascendant sign. And I'll teach you how to see all of this. We're going into a really esoteric and astrology without needing to know any astrology. And if you subscribe for the whole course, which is 12 signs, you get it half price. If not, you can just get each one for $29, whichever sign you want to see. Libra April 2016. Let's talk about this phenomenal, interesting month where so many planets are changing direction and becoming stationary. They'll have such a big impact on you guys. And Libra in particular will be strongly influenced and affected. Why? Because the planet that rules you, you as an ascendant, sun or moon Libra, are ruled by the planet Venus. You know that, you sweethearts. And when the planet Venus, so rare, it's in such a phase now that it's changing direction, and the planet Venus in April already has started its new cycle, which means that also you can start your new cycle from April, guys. And because you're ruled by Venus, this is 19-month cycles. Maybe if you're Libra ascendant, sun, moon, people, if you think back, maybe you notice that how there is renewal in your life around every 19 months with the cycle of Venus. And at the end of March, a new cycle of Venus started. But towards approximately the middle of the middle of April, Venus is turning direct. So it means that the big part of April, it's stationary, it's sitting in one place. And then it starts to turn direct. And Venus becomes extremely powerful. This is like a person who is walking over. I give this example for everyone. Forgive me if you've been watching other predictions as well from my videos, but I want to make an impact for you to understand what it means for a planet to become immovable, stationary in the sky. And this is your planet that rules your life. It means, like, imagine someone walking on drying concrete and they leave small prints behind, and all of a sudden they stop and they start sinking in the concrete. And the same happens with the planet that becomes stationary. It's moving, leaving some prints, moving you into new or old territories, doesn't matter, and then all of a sudden it stops and it becomes 5 times more powerful, almost like its gravity increases. So a planet has 5 times more strength to impact something, to change something, just like you sink in the concrete the same way. I'm not saying you're gonna sink, Libras, but I'm saying that you can make a much more powerful impact and imprint in your life in regards to some direction, in regards to the influence that you have as well, in regards to the power that you have. But it's more like a concentrated, slow power, like a person in meditation, rather than a power like, because the planet is stopped. it's focused, it's concentrated. And Venus till the middle of April is still moving backwards, it's still moving retrograde, so it's more introverted in a sense. It's about deciding the direction, and then the planet stops. You've been analyzing, assessing, reevaluating, and then the planets. And people that are ruled by Venus, maybe they're feeling a little bit more slowed down, a little bit more, not everyone, but when Venus goes retrograde, they feel like reassessing their life, looking back over things. What are they going to keep? What are they going to leave? What are they going to remove from their life? And things can slow down a little bit. But at the same time, it's when Venus becomes stopped, it's like you are finally at the pitchfork, having to take the next path, having to make the decision and step into the new cycle of Venus. And in the middle of April, approximately, I would say, I don't know, for about 15 days before for about 15 days in April, you'd feel as if you're in front of a road. You have to choose which direction to go. You have to be, something will turn, like a big way in your life will turn and start a new phase, a new cycle. Some big choices will be made in your life, which will change the direction of your life as well. And how you express yourself, because Venus rules you, the first house. How do you express yourself? How do you express your personality? What your overall path in life is going to be? And you're gonna feel powerful, but in a way that is content, that is within, rather than charging ahead, doing crazy stuff. And you can start charging ahead after the second week of April when Venus starts moving direct, but it's still moving very slowly. So mostly towards the end of April, you're going to start seeing more like a fast forward movement ahead, like some complications getting resolved, and you're taking a decision and coming into your stride. But while Venus is stationary in the middle of April, and even from the beginning, you are asked to make important decisions. And not only that, but all the time Venus is in a square aspect with Saturn from your third house, and they're making the so-called 90-degree aspect here, which is a square and harmonious aspect. And Venus is in your sixth house, by the way, the whole of April, Libras. So what it means, when Saturn aspects Venus, the whole of April, Saturn and Venus are aspecting each other. On a degree almost, So you're becoming more serious. You can find yourself like becoming more serious, like Saturn, like the life requiring from you to take bigger responsibilities, to have more self-discipline, to have more organization, to have more responsibility of some sort. And it might feel as if it's imposed on you from outside. It's a difficult aspect. It might take some time. Difficult aspect means you don't incorporate it super easy and flowing, but it takes you some time, so it needs some adjustment for you to accept those extra responsibilities and duties, or this extra seriousness. And it also means that it can change your daily routines. Something is changing in your daily environment, Saturn in the third house, in your daily reality, that requires you to change your daily routines, whether it's waking up early, whether it's what you're eating, how you're exercising, that requires you to put more effort, that requires you to put more discipline. Sixth house, where Venus is also your work. It's also your work and duties and responsibilities. So maybe you might have to put more extra duties and responsibilities behind the scenes, work harder on something which is triggered by Saturn, the planet of discipline, by some authority figure, or which is triggered by work in a group with people in some commercial project. Third house rules commercial projects, rules writing, speaking projects, some documents, arrangements of documents of some sort that requires you to organize yourself, to work harder, to sort out the details, which is sixth house. Or maybe some work in project, third house, it's like third house rules small groups of people, your colleagues, your siblings, your neighbors that you can cooperate with in a small group. This can be putting pressure on you. For example, third house people of some sort can be putting pressure on you guys because you're Libra, and you have to adapt or adjust in some way, or take more responsibility, or maybe work together on some project. Or another thing, you might be developing skills of some sort, which is Saturn in the third house, that require a lot of your energy, that require a lot of your focus and concentration more, and that will change also how the techniques that you use in sixth house rules techniques, third house rules skills, sixth house rules perfecting your how do I say, perfecting your skill, perfecting, third house is the skills, sixth house is perfecting your skills, perfecting your career, perfecting your work. So maybe you might be asked to do something behind the scenes that you're putting the final touches to, that requires a lot of your skill, a lot of your mental organization, because Saturn in the third house is about organizing, about planning, about attending to structuring your thoughts better, structuring your skills better, structuring marketing, planning, organizing of some sort. You see, it can play in many different ways, but you'd feel a little bit more burdened or a little bit more serious, or like asked to grow up, or maybe some kind of a travel. Saturn in the third house can affect their plans, whatever they are, your daily plans can, or your work in some way, and working plans and working environment or daily environment. Or another thing, piece of information, third house can affect, Saturn from the third house can affect your work in some way, can affect your health in some way, changing your health or daily routines. Or another thing, oh my God, there's multiple possibilities how it can play out, this third and sixth house. But usually both third and sixth house are about using your mind somehow, perfecting skills, putting more efforts into doing difficult things. Sixth house is debt. So Saturn can put some pressure on you to organize, to plan better, to organize something to do with the debt, for example. Okay, so multiple possibility. I can speak for hours what it can mean. But this is some kind of responsibility, duty, serious decision you have to take in regards to those things, to sort out, to adapt to. And when Venus starts moving ahead, you'll see very good results. Maybe you'd have transformed your lifestyle, sixth house. Maybe you'd have transformed by having to put extra efforts and more hard work, your work environment, your health, your routines and habits, and overall your life. And then Venus will go into your seventh house, guys, in May. We'll speak about that, where relationships, it will come back again, concluding some kind of relationship and sorting out issues there. But this is mostly how Venus retrograde and moving and starting to move direct will play out for you in April. Watch out for those themes. Saturn is also stationary, so it's extremely powerful. So all those things for third house that we mentioned, you'd have to be making a change in direction there, direction in your, not daily organization, but third house is contacts, relationships with siblings, relatives, become more serious, maybe more heavy. They need re-examination, they need some kind of corrective influence, they need more. It doesn't need to be bad either. They might just need more of your attention. A stationary planet just needs you to organize and put more efforts into that thing. Some kind of marketing plan, some kind of commercial work, some kind of very mental, heavy work of some sort that you have to do as well. That's another thing. Or it might have to do something, sometimes third house rules relocations, and you have to put extra work there in regards to that. You see, it can play out in so many different ways. Okay, and then another planet that's retrograde, stationary, and then becoming retrograde is Mercury in your 8th house, guys. Here we go, Mercury, 8th house, somewhere here, and it's stationary and then it becomes retrograde. Well, what can it mean for you, Libras, this? And most of April, Mercury will be retrograde, and then in May it will turn direct. But becoming stationary for about 10 days and then retrograde in your 8th house means you have to reevaluate and rebudget mutual resources and finances. Something has to change in your financial. Of course, not every Libra will feel all of those things. Some will feel it on some level, others on another level. They don't necessarily have to. They might be more like thoughts in your head, but this is the general direction. So refinancing, rebudgeting, re-examining your finances mutually with a partner, or your taxes, 8th house, April, some of you might have to be working because stationary planet, then going retrograde is about putting 3 times more effort. Remember, the planet is heavier, it's making an imprint. And you have to put 3 times more effort in regards to the nature of what Mercury is, which is checking details, making sure, filling documents, papers, making sure that the dots are I's, whatever, and T's are crossed. And in regards to inheritances, it can be in regards to taxes, working more hard and rebudgeting something to do with finding out and sourcing out resources from others. Say, for example, you might be a banker, you might be working with other people's money, and some really demanding project can come in regards to banking, which is other people's resources or finances. Or you might be an insurer, or you might be dealing with some insurance that you have to re-examine. And it's good not to, basically, when Mercury goes retrograde, or any planet goes retrograde in your financial houses, and the 8th house is one of those, not to take big risks because or totally new directions in respect to, say, if you decide to take a totally new loan, or totally new investment, 8th house rules investments, or totally new contract with someone who has to bring money or somehow resources, or sourcing out resources from others, but such that you've looked into before can come back into your life. For example, someone owes you something, or someone promised you a loan and it can come back to you in some way, or or maybe a book can be returned to you. It can be like the smallest thing, and maybe some taxes can be returned to you, income rebate of some sort, Mercury moving retrograde. But also try not to make crazy decisions because it can destabilize your finances, and you might need to, a retrograde planet looks within and says what is no longer valid, so I have to cut out, okay, this investment is no longer good, it's kind of shitty, I cut it off, or okay, this provider for paint for my company is actually, I'm not happy with the paint I provide for my painting company or whatever. Or I'm not happy with the electric parts that this supplier brings to my company, so I have to cut it off. So some income can get cut out from that comes to you through others, have to be reevaluated, re-examined, and made more, how do I say, more neat. Mercury is neat. Mercury is clean, is more organized in some sort, And okay, it requires 3 times more efforts, it requires a change of direction, but the good news is that once you sort it out, maybe by May, April, by June after that, you can have a more efficient 8th house, dealing with resources and stuff like that, and other people's resources and all those matters that we talked about. Anyway, Libras, that's for you. I can talk for hours about what's happening, but remember, impactful month. And I didn't even mention what houses Saturn rules because it's going stationary, what houses Mercury rules for you because it's going stationary. But it's like, it has to be a 50-minute video otherwise. So these are the general biggest points. So thank you.